Hi, everyone. I am Heidi Wild, and welcome to this very exciting conversation. Today, I'm thrilled to introduce to you the brilliant mind behind MindTrainer Pro, the world's first certified brainwave entrainment. The engineer Morry Zelcovitch is going to tell us all about this. So, if you have ever wished for an easy way to be calm, to be clear, to be focused, to simply be more you, you're going to love this. So, we're going to unpack the science, the stories, and the magic of MindTrain Pro. So, MindTrain Pro is a personal development tool. We make no medical claims here, nor do we treat or diagnose any medical condition. So, this is about supporting your personal well being journey naturally and safely. So, let's get started. So, Morry, welcome. And
Thank you very much for having me, Heidi. I appreciate the opportunity to let people know everything there is to know about MindTrainer Pro.
well, let's get started with what is exactly Mind Trainer Pro and brain entrainment, and how does it work?
So, MindTrainer Pro, well, I guess I have to talk about brainwave entrainment first. So, for those of you who don't know, brainwave entrainment happens naturally, and chances are you have been entrained multiple times in your life, maybe thousands and even tens of thousands of times. If you've ever listened to a song you particularly like and you kind of mindlessly bop your head, you tap your toes, that's a form of entrainment. That's your body reacting to the tones, to the pulsed beats, if you will, of the drums or the bass line or guitar or piano, whatever, and following the frequency. That's basically what happens. Well, your brain is made up of billions of neurons. Neurons are cells, and these cells flicker on and off like a light switch. And depending on how many times you flick on that light switch and off every second, that dictates the state that neuron is in, like alpha, beta, delta, gamma, theta. It also dictates the kind of chemistry that it releases. So, depending on the region of the brain the cell is located in and how many times it's flashing on and off, pulsing an electric frequency, that dictates the kind of chemistry. It turns out it's the chemistry that allows us to feel and interpret and experience anything we do. If we're happy, if we're sad, we're turned on, we're turned off, any feeling, any emotion, anything at all. We don't feel it unless our brain creates brainwave activity, which then in turn creates the chemistry, which then allows us to feel or experience whatever it is we're experiencing. That's how you can have three people in an airplane. One person is, they're all going to do skydiving, right? So they're all wearing the parachute and ready to go. One of them is excited. I can't wait to go. I can't wait to go. The second one is going, you know what? I think I'm just going to ride the plane down. I'm not doing this anymore. This was a crazy idea. And the third one is going, I just got a call from the office. I can't wait to get down because I need to get, and take care of a client. It's the same stimulation pattern, but three different experiences. With brainwave entrainment, we can influence the behavior of your neuron so that it influences on a very subtle level the chemistry that that neuron produces. That in turn reflects upon how you behave, act, and react to the world around you. That's one reason why you can look around you and see people smiling and people crying, people who are wealthy, people who are poor. How can you explain these differences when everyone exists in the same conditions, with the same stimulation, on the same planet, in the same world? Well, one of the ways to do that is that their brain is not seeing things the way you are seeing things. Your brain is not acting or reacting the same way your brain is. Their chemistry is different, thus their experience is different. With brainwave entrainment, we retrain the brain so that it's serving instead of unserving, so that it helps you, it lifts you instead of holding you down.
Oh, wow.
So that's basically brainwave entrainment. I went on and on and on. I almost forgot that I need to explain what MindTrainer Pro is now. So MindTrainer Pro is a conglomeration of recordings and methodologies using visual and auditory stimulation, MP3 files, MP4 files, sounds and light, if you will, to influence the behavior of your neuron. Believe it or not, if you have a pulse tone going something like ba 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 ba, your brain can actually follow that frequency. So your neurons would start pulsing at the same level that you're hearing the pulse. This allows us to give you a state change, so to speak. It allows us to give you a dominant brainwave frequency, which we don't get in nature anymore because we're too worried about life and death and disease and war and politics and religion and all the other things that get in the way of our lives. And it allows us to get back into a natural state. And that natural state is how you were designed to function. So now when you deal with stressors, it's easier. You recover faster. Now when you deal with good things, you feel good. When things turn bad, you recover quicker because you see the perspective, because you're not overwhelmed by the chemistry that you've been trained with all your life to feel bad and to get upset and to dwell on. These are all learned responses. By changing our chemistry, by changing our brain waves, we change how we perceive everything that's happening around us. I spent 40 years, that's 40 years, depressed and suicidal. I'm sure nobody detects anything like that in me now. I went from wanting to be dead forever to be alive forever. I used to walk around thinking nonstop life is a disease for which there is no cure but death. Now I want to live forever. So brainwave entrainment utilizes pulse sounds and pulse light and imagery to alter your perception by altering subtly your brainwaves. And by virtue of altering your brainwaves subtly, it also alters your chemistry subtly, and that alters your experience. So I hope that isn't too sciency or too out there, but that's basically how things work.
Wow. It's so fascinating. So, first of all, thank you so much for sharing your vulnerable story and how you became to learn about this, because that was one of my questions is how did you become the world's first certified brain entrainment uh, expert, the scientists? And
Yeah.
so there's a lot of brain wave type of things out there, right? It's, the hertz sounds and the brown noise and the white noise, and there's meditation music all over the YouTube.
Binaural beats. Yeah.
Yeah, so can you share a little of for anyone watching, what is the difference? What differentiates your technology with anything else that's out there?
So there's a couple of main things. I won't go into everything because then I'd have to kill you. I'm kidding, of course. But I'm not going to give away my secrets. But I will tell you that in my journey of trying to save myself, when I couldn't find a way to die, I had to find a way to live. I ended up trying brainwave entrainment. I haven't invented it. I wish I could tell you I invented it. I'm genius, blah, blah, blah. I'm not. I did not invent it. But I tried everything that was out there. And what I noticed was nothing. Although all of the research I was doing, because I was studying neurological journals and neurochemical journals and research papers and quantum physics and anything to do with perception that I could figure out why I was feeling the way I was feeling. And what I realized was that what exists has existed from the beginning of this technology. There's nothing new. There's nothing innovative. And when I tried it, it didn't help me. But instead of getting depressed, which is even more depressed actually than I normally was, I thought maybe that's why I'm depressed. Maybe that's why I found this stuff because I'm supposed to change it. So I kind of used a lot of the information that I was picking up from my research over the 40 years of suffering, and I applied it to the current technology and I adapted it and I changed it. And when I did, that's when it started helping me. So I have specific frequencies that I use to elicit neurological responses in the brain to make the brain more sensitive to the pulse tone, the ba 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 ba. I incorporate special spoken word aspects. As an example, everyone's very familiar with affirmations, right? I am this, I am that. Well, I will tell you that those affirmations actually sabotage you. They do not help you. I did a research study a little while ago. It wasn't an official study, it wasn't peer reviewed. I haven't published it, but it was with 10 people who've been doing affirmations. I am happy, I am wealthy, I am this, I am that, for at least 20 years. I interviewed them. Every single one of them said, without a question of a doubt, oh, yeah, they help. That's why I do them so long. That's why I've been doing them for 20 years, for 30 years, whatever. Said, okay, thank you. And then I interviewed people who knew them for that amount of time. Not one person noticed any difference in any of these people. Nothing. It's placebo, it's con job. They were conning themselves because I am doesn't work. By the time I am makes any sense, it's already true. You don't have to affirm it. But if you say you're rich and you don't know where your dinner's coming from and you don't know if you can afford rent next month, you know there's a discongruity here. You know it doesn't make sense. You know it doesn't work. The more you affirm that you're wealthy when you're not, you're actually hurting yourself. Now, that being said, affirmations actually do work if you understand how to use them. Using them in the form of you are and it is, that's the trick. Because when I say you are wealthy, even if you're not, you go, I wonder what Morry sees in me that makes him think I'm wealthy. Maybe wealth is more than just money. Maybe it's money and friendship. Maybe he sees love in me. Maybe, it just starts your brain figuring out why does someone else think I'm wealthy? Why does someone else think I'm happy? Why does someone else this? Why does someone else that? It creates a whole process like planting a seed. So it doesn't mean you're going to get your answer in 5 minutes, but it means the seed has to get roots. Then it has to grow up. Then it has to break the surface. That's how the brain works. So when we do our spoken word aspects, we do it in the way that actually works, in the way that makes sense. We don't learn from the inside out. We learn from the outside in. If we have a fear of money, if we have a fear of life, if we have a fear of this or fear of that, if we have these beliefs or those beliefs, no one believes in God because they were born believing in God. They believe in God because they were brought up to believe in God. That's why people believe in God. Whether God exists or not doesn't even matter. It's some people believe because they were brought up believing, other people don't believe because they were brought up not believing. Is one better than the other? If both people are happy, I'm satisfied. That's all I care about if you're happy. So that's really the bottom line. It's all about understanding the dynamics of how perception works, of how behavior originates, and then incorporating that information into these systems. There's people out there with light and sound machines. They have devices, they have flickering glasses and all this stuff. My technology is not embedded in technology. It's not embedded in a device. It's embedded in the code of the actual audio or visual recording. You don't need anything special. Ordinary pair of $10 headphones, good enough. Hit play, lie down, close your eyes. You can even sleep while you're using this. Those are just some of the reasons why this works, whereas for me at least, the others had no effect. I have proprietary science and technology in what I've done that no one else has ever done. Because I'm self-taught, it means I wasn't taught what's impossible, which also means I don't believe in the word impossible. If I have a thought, it's because it's possible. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had the thought. I'm currently working on 50 techniques and technologies that I haven't even released yet. And more keep popping into my head all the time.
Exciting. So
Yeah.
thank you for all of that. That is a lot of great information. And, it's really cool that you can lie down, put your headsets on, listen. Like you talk about, we don't have to learn anything. We don't have to study anything. We don't have to know how to meditate, any of that. You can sleep. It's all coming into our subconscious. And I've used these, so I'll give you a personal experience.
Please.
In about 2 weeks now that I've been consistently. And I've seen a lot of shifts in my life already. So the sleep, I have used both on and off, and I have an aura ring so I can track it. So when I didn't use the calm and now the sleep that I'm testing, I was at about 7 hours a night and over 9 hours on the other nights that I did use them, about 40 minutes before I went to sleep. I didn't sleep with them on. I did it before sleep. I've also used them walking around my house. Some other programs. There's a lot of different programs that we offer
Yeah.
here at MindTrainer Pro, which we can talk about in a moment. And I was being more productive. There's been things I've been procrastinating, tasks that I'm tackling. I am in a new gym that I joined, and the last week and a half, I've been uh, working on the machines. I was doing yoga classes a couple days in a row, two yoga classes yesterday. This morning, I did a water aerobics class, and then I walked the track. You know, it's like waking me up in a different way than I've been used to. And I eat well, I sleep, I'm working on getting to bed earlier too. But I've seen the the difference in how I'm focused and calm, my clarity, etc. So, can you talk a little bit about some of the different programs and why they are different and how someone would choose? There's one for sales, there's one for confidence, and there's one for
Yeah.
stress and whatnot. And how did you
So,
coming with these? There's one for pickleball, there's one for golf.
yeah, so basically, what happens is they're all based on peak performance states. So, peak performance, believe it or not, for anything is more or less the same. So, you'll see that there's similar recordings in many of the programs and systems. That's because when I did my research, I noticed that there's specific brain states that tend to be dominant in people who are peak performing. So we want to train the brain how to get that way. And the best way to train the brain is the best way to train yourself. Repetition, right? Just do it, expose yourself to it and let it happen. Then we want to laser focus, like on pickleball, like on sales, like on business, like on athletics. I mean, we have so many different topics. We have for sleep, we have all kinds of different things. And we have new ones coming out all the time, too. As a matter of fact, we're working on 3 new systems, getting them ready to be released very shortly. Currently, I think we have 9. We have one for golf coming out next week. So we laser target. We have recordings that are actually visual recordings. They're called VI recordings, as in vying to be your best. And VI stands for Visual Image Entrainment. They're just 3-minute videos. You basically just hold your phone up to your eyes like this. You put on your headphones. You hear a pulse sound that matches the flicker rate of the images. There's a specific color involved that I've designed a algorithm that helps to pick out the optimal color to activate neuronal sequences in such a way as to get the desired effect. There's multiple different techniques involved. It's a 3-minute recording. And what it does is it brings back the effect of listening to the 30-minute recordings and the power involved there, but it also helps your brain to neurologically relate to the different imagery.
Hmm.
So business would have successful business deals being, completed. Sales would have successful sales calls. Pickleball would, of course, show people playing pickleball and smiling and having a good time. All these kinds of things. So we laser focus. We have the general system, which is uniform through most of our systems. And then we laser focus you in. This is one of the things about what I do and what we do here at MindTrainer Pro is we can literally create a customized system for anything. And frankly, the systems that are in MindTrainer Pro were all originally designed because people wanted to have something for pickleball. They wanted to have it for this. They wanted to have it for that. The thing is, everyone has a brain. So what people were noticing was they weren't just getting benefits in pickleball. They weren't just getting benefits in their sales, you know, routines or in their business or whatever. They were actually noticing, like you were noticing, Heidi, better sleep, Maybe they weren't as argumentative. Maybe they listened better. I mean, little things happen that we don't understand are bothering us or getting in our way. I had a friend who used the system and he said, I felt nothing. And he just listened to one recording once. And he said, I felt nothing. It was half an hour long, the recording. Said it felt like half an hour. I heard all the pulses. I heard this. I heard that. I felt nothing. So we talked a few more minutes and he had to go home. So he drove home. He called me 3 hours later. Morry, I got to tell you something. Uh-oh. What? Well, I drove home and I was cut off a couple of times. I said, what? Did someone hit your car? No, no, they just cut me off. I said, okay, so what'd you want to tell me? Well, when they cut me off, I didn't get upset. Normally, I would give them the finger and yell and scream. The thing is, I didn't even notice that I didn't get upset until right now. That's why I'm calling you. So he had no idea. When we are operating at peak performance, we're not likely to notice it. It's like in the zone, they used to call it. You don't notice it, you just do it. Sometimes it's going to be someone else who's going to point out to you how much better you were, how much fewer. I mean, when I was using this stuff, developing it originally way back when, I worked for a company. I actually optimized the process I was hired for so that I could do an 8 hour job in 4 hours. And it was these recordings that allowed me to do that. Then in the afternoon, I was getting paid by that company to actually do my own research.
Oh, that's amazing.
And they had no problem with that because I was making less mistakes than anyone else ever did. And I was getting all the job done on time. So why would they argue? And my office was isolated from the rest of everybody else's office, so they couldn't see. But, it's kind of funny, right? Because I've got all these MRI scans and stuff up on the screen. And every time I heard a noise behind me, I'd bring up, the business related stuff.
Wow. So it made you more productive. Is
Oh,
this
yeah.
platform program avail open to everyone? So is there anyone that shouldn't be using this in terms of any medical conditions, any age requirements, or anything like
That's a good question. So I wouldn't use it with anyone less than 12 years old, although I've had people using it with people as young as 6. But if you are going to listen or let children listen, you got to watch them. You have to sit with them while, like, read a book or something while they're actually running the session, headphones lying down. You got to watch their behavior over the next few days. Make sure it's really designed for a more mature brain, like an adult brain. Doesn't mean you have to be mature. Believe me, people who know me don't think I'm very mature. But physiologically, I have a mature brain, so it's okay for me. As far as contraindications are concerned, if you have repressed or otherwise undealt with issues, social, psychological, mental issues, emotional issues, I would be cautious. I would listen at a very quiet volume. You see, volume with this technology kind of works like a gas pedal. So imagine you're driving down a nice country road and you're doing 30 miles an hour. It's beautiful, right? You can watch the scenery, you're having no problem. Now imagine doing the same winding road 130 miles an hour. Well, you're not really noticing the beauty anymore. You're doing everything you can just to stay on the road. So just because it's more powerful, louder, doesn't mean you should listen louder. I would say at the best or at the loudest, you should listen at a comfortable conversational volume. So whatever volume you have your computer set to now, listening to us, that would be the volume you listen. If you have issues with photoepilepsy, I would not use these systems without talking to a doctor first. Photic epilepsy is brought on by flashing lights, seizures from that. If you have other seizure disorders, I would talk to a doctor first as well.
that?
Other than that, if you have questions, if you're on psychoactive drugs, if you're on anything like that, I would speak with a doctor first. But for most people, there's really nothing. I mean, it's like listening. When do you have to talk to someone when you listen to the radio or to the television or to a song on your stereo? Not really. But because we're directing neural activity, you do want to be a little more cautious.
Okay, great information. Thank you so much. And this has been really helpful. I mean, the testimonies are starting to come in. We have a group page where people are sharing what's happening. And as I thought might happen, there's a lot of testimonies of people having results that they had no idea. There's high return on this, and it, it's so exciting to because this can help so many people in so many ways. So I want to
And in ways they don't expect. Sorry for interrupting, but that's the whole thing. Imagine exercise. So you were talking about how you're going to a club now and you're exercising. So let's say you're doing weights, you're doing sit-ups, you're doing push-ups, and you're walking. So does that mean after a year, all you can do is more walking, more weights, more sit-ups, more push-ups? No, it means those muscle groups that you've been exercising are now going to be more efficient for anything that they can do. We treat your brain like a muscle. Your brain has to do with everything. People are consistently noticing benefits that they didn't expect because it's the brain that's getting stronger. At least that's the goal here. That's what our hope is, that we help make your brain stronger. Now, we're not making it stronger in a medical sense. We're making it stronger in a personal sense, in a psychological sense. And by doing that, anything your brain does, which is everything, has the potential to get better and more efficient as well.
Yeah, I've heard we use a very small portion of our brain in this is opening up unlimited possibilities and opportunities and it's really exciting. So, well, before we close, I want to say thank you so much for taking the time to share this exciting
Pleasure.
technology. If you're curious, if you're listening and you're curious about MindTrainer Pro, there's a couple options. We have a free digital coffee download that you can go get on the website. So it would be HeidiWild.com/MTP, MindTrainer Pro. That's Heidi, Heidi, Wild, WILDE.com/MTP. You can download that digital copy. You can look around, and these programs are going to be added all the time. You said you have like hundreds of them waiting in the pipeline, right? To
Down
uh
the road, yeah. No
yes.
one's letting me relax. I designed all this stuff because I was lazy and I wanted something easy to use, and no one's letting me relax.
But you love
Be
this.
careful what you ask for, people. That's all I have to tell you.
Are you enjoying yourself?
I'm having the time of my life.
And it shows. And thank you. And you're helping
Yeah,
so many people with this. So, all right. Thank you so much, everyone. And thank you, Morry. And this concludes
thank you.
our session today. Thank you.